asked in May about whether I could make an obstruction case, I said I thought I could. I know I can. There is so much evidence now, and as was said, it's not one piece. It's the total picture. The pieces of the puzzle are fitting together, and they spell obstruction.
And that is my next guest, feeling pretty confident about making a case for obstruction against President Trump in light of recent developments. Jill Wine-Banks is a former assistant Watergate special prosecutor, also an MSNBC contributor. Jill, always good to talk with you, so let's get right into it here. Pretty strong statement you made this last week. And then an hour ago, the president reiterated again, saying several times over and over, there is no collusion. Nothing has been proven in this last year. But he has not spoken about obstruction. What evidence do you have that you have seen that makes you confident you could put together an obstruction case?
Thank you, Alex. I think that Mueller probably has much more evidence than I do. I'm only looking at what is publicly available. And I can take a number of pieces and say that a reasonable jury would see those pieces as fitting together and spelling out obstruction. So you have things like the firing of Comey, but you also have, supporting that, the letter that he drafted that said he was firing Comey because of the Russia investigation. He said that to Lester Holt on NBC, saying that he was firing him because of that. He told the Russians that he was getting rid of Comey because of the Russia investigation. So that supports that element of it being an obstruction. He also pardoned Joe Arpaio and sent a clear message to all witnesses against him that they didn't have to cooperate with the FBI or with Mueller, that he would pardon them even if they were held in contempt of court or Congress for not answering the questions or for perjury even. So that's another element. There are so many pieces that when you put them together, you go, okay, he fired Sally Yates, but he kept Flynn. Why did he do that? That has to have something to do with it. And his constant attack on the media, the FBI, and Mueller is definitely part of what looks like an obstruction to me. And his drafting of the false statement about the reason for the meeting in Trump Tower with his son and Manafort and his son-in-law Jared Kushner. That was something else that looks like obstruction. It led to someone leaving the administration for fear that they were all involved in an obstruction by participating in that.
So even though the question posed to the president an hour ago in that news conference in reaction to the New York Times story on Mr. Trump asking Don McCann to stop the recusal of Jeff Sessions, his response to that was, everything I did was 100% proper. And the intimation was that it extended beyond anything with Sessions, that it's just this, in this administration, everything he's done is 100% proper. You disagree with that? You think that's false?
I do. I mean, I think the new book, Fire and Fury, is matched by the fury of his response and retaliation for it and the pants on fire lies that he has told throughout the year of his presidency. And so I really don't think that he is the most credible witness, and I would trust some of the others. I look forward to public hearings on this and to the public revelation that will eventually come from Mueller. But I'm just taking what's publicly available.
And Jill, specifically asking Don McCann to try to get Jeff Sessions not to recuse himself, you believe that is specifically viewed as a form of obstruction?
You know, I think it shows consciousness of Trump's guilt. Because why, if Trump did nothing illegal, does he need to keep the Attorney General as his protector? Remember, he was saying, where's my Roy Cohn?
Yeah.
I need someone to protect me. He wanted the protection that he says that Robert Kennedy gave to John Kennedy when he was president, that Eric Holder gave to Obama. I don't know what he's referring to in those other references, but I do know Roy Cohn was a mentor of both Roger Stone and Donald Trump, and that he is one of the most evil lawyers. He was disbarred. He was the person who was so deeply involved in the Army McCarthy hearings, which is one of the most despicable parts of our history, where people were punished for political beliefs or for not even having beliefs, but for refusing to name names. So he doesn't need protection if he's done nothing wrong. So trying to get him to stay because he believed he would protect him shows his consciousness of guilt. alone, it's not that big a deal. It's just that when you put them together with all of these other elements, I think you have a case.